Do you struggle with time management? Write to-do lists that never get ticked off? Feel like you're always chasing your tail to get up to speed? And waste a lot of time trying to get things done but never actually achieve success? You are not alone. Most teachers work long hours feeling a relentless sense of urgency, juggling multiple demands without feeling you're spending enough time on the most important tasks. You spend too little time thinking strategically, too little time taking care of yourself, and too little time simply enjoying life. I'm going to share with you some effective ways that you can improve your time management by managing your energy rather than focusing on your time. Many teachers are so busy teaching their students, dealing with parents, working to the demands of principals, the department, and the government that they don't spend enough time or energy thinking about what they really want. And while selfishness makes us all small, the costs of selflessness can be just as depleting. And that's especially true for those in the helping professions, such as nurses, teachers, and social workers. Serving others can take up so much time that it occurs at the expense of your own well-being and eventually to those that you're committed to serving, that is, your students and your parent community. Something called compassion fatigue is characterized by symptoms such as depression, the inability to focus, decreased effectiveness, burnout, and breakdown. And for people who spend their lives giving to others, like you as a teacher, the challenge is to equally value your own needs, to renew yourself, both for your own sake and so that you can serve others more effectively. My name's Mari Amaro and I'm the Principal Presenter at The Highly Effective Teacher. I am a teacher and I've been working with students and supporting teachers for over 30 years. I'm passionate about teacher wellbeing and about working with teachers so that they can thrive in the teaching profession. Improved teacher wellbeing means improved student wellbeing, and that contributes to better academic and social outcomes. If you'd like to learn more about teacher wellbeing, please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so that you receive notifications of all our videos. I have so much time to do all the things I need to do, said no teacher ever. Time for all the marking, the lesson plans, the meetings, creating resources, parent meetings, time for that student who's falling behind, as well as the student who's miles ahead. But time is a finite resource, and no matter what you do, you will never generate one more second of time. The difference in your quality of life is how you spend the time and whether you use the most effective strategies to maximize the time you have. I recently read Tony Schwartz's book, The Way We're Working Isn't Working. He talks about 74% of employees experiencing an energy crisis. And in this book, he introduces a different concept to time management, energy management. Number one, focus on expanding your energy. Focus on improving and expanding your energy rather than thinking about time. It's the energy and vigor you bring to a task that makes it exciting, inspiring, and dynamic, not the amount of time you allocate. Think of a time when you were really struggling to get important work completed, for example, reports or programming, and you committed to putting in whatever time it took. The core problem with simply allocating time and committing to working longer hours is that time is a finite resource. You run out of time. Energy, on the other hand, is a different story. Physical energy is the fundamental source of fuel in life. Defined in physics as the capacity to work, energy comes from four main components in human beings: the body, emotion, mind, and spirit. And in each, energy can be systematically expanded and regularly renewed by establishing specific rituals, behaviors that are intentionally practiced and precisely scheduled, with the goal of making them unconscious and automatic as quickly as possible. We need to learn to live our lives as a series of sprints, fully engaging for periods of time, and then fully disengaging and renewing, replenishing, and revitalizing before jumping back in to face whatever challenges confront us. Number two, work more effectively. Get more done in 4 hours than in a whole day of work, because you've figured out what works for you to increase focus and motivation. Try out some different ways of working. For example, scheduling regular breaks, that may involve movement, music, walking outside, drinking water, dancing, making sure that you stop for lunch rather than sitting in front of your computer, connecting with other people, and setting time limits to tasks rather than going for perfection, which is impossible anyway. And then prioritizing what needs to be done well and what can go out as it is. Getting things done good enough so that you reduce your stress. For example, notes to parents need to be done well with language and tone considered, as well as punctuation and spelling, while perhaps your colour-coded filing system may not be so important. I know that for me to be successful at a task that requires concentration and productive thinking, I need to do some completely unrelated activities before I begin. I know that I'm most productive when I have exercised prior to starting, when I've had some water to drink, when I've had my coffee, and I've set myself a goal for the work. For example, if I plan to get 10 reports completed by 2 p.m, I'm much more likely to get them done. And when I promise myself a reward at the end of it, such as watching a TV show, reading my book for an hour, doing some art, or visiting my grandchildren, that also keeps me motivated and productive. My energy and productivity levels are increased by physical activity and a positive mindset. Number 3, take a break when you feel frustrated. Have you ever put hours and hours into trying to complete a task or figure out a problem or make a decision only to become more and more frustrated and unproductive? And have you ever noticed that when you take a break from that task, you often come back feeling renewed and better able to problem solve? That's because you actually needed a break, both physically and mentally, in order to function properly. Tension is created by the mental struggle of trying too hard to figure something out, when what you actually need is to give your mind some space and time to let the answer come. Putting long hours into a task without renewal breaks is false economy and can lead to feeling depleted, overwhelmed, and burnt out. One way to increase energy, Schwartz recommends, is developing healthy rituals. He claims that a civilization advances by increasing the number of processes that they complete without thinking about them, the things that become ritualized or habits. When he talks about rituals, he's referring to the practices that you decide that support you to show up in your life and your work in the best emotional, physical, and mental state that you can. Some of his rituals include running 5 kilometers at 8 a.m. each morning, going home for lunch for an hour every day, taking a 30-minute nap at 4:30, only checking his personal email at midday, 5 p.m. and 10 p.m, and reading in bed from 11 to midnight each night. And this got me thinking about some of my rituals, particularly those in the morning. I do a 10-minute meditation. I go for a 45-minute power walk outside in nature. I drink a warm glass of water with apple cider vinegar or lemon just before I have my morning coffee. The power of these rituals is that I feel better when I do them, and like something is missing from my day when I don't. Think about how you feel if you ever forget to brush your teeth or put on deodorant. It just feels wrong. Over time, you will develop rituals that suit your own lifestyle and your particular needs, but what's most effective is that you put thought into deliberately deciding on the rituals that will enhance the quality of your life and what happens in your classroom. Number 5, schedule those rituals. When you schedule the activities that support you to live your best life, like spending time with your loved ones, exercising and eating well, your energy for work will explode, making you more efficient and more effective. It's about putting your efforts into the things that will give you the most benefit. And if you're interested in supporting your own health and well-being, please check out our Teacher Wellbeing Workshop. And if you would like to learn some in-the-moment strategies to cope with stress and improve your well-being, check out our video on teacher wellbeing strategies. There are some simple techniques that you can incorporate into your workday to help you manage the inevitable stress of teaching. Creating positive rituals is the most powerful means that they've found to effectively manage energy. And these rituals are about developing strong habits that you really commit to, like setting an hour aside each night to play with your kids and never letting anything else encroach on that time. Another example that Schwartz uses is the warm-up ritual that many tennis players use prior to serving. And there's research to support the use of effective strategies of energy management rather than time management. The study of 3 groups of violin players shows the different approaches and how that impacted achievement and success. The study divided the violin players into 3 groups. The first one that would go on to become soloists, the second group who would be in an orchestra, and the third group who would become music teachers. The first group, the most successful, who became soloists, practiced when they were fresh and for approximately 90 minutes at a time, then had a break, and included in that they also rested in the afternoon. The second group, who would go on to be in the orchestra, practiced for long periods of time with no break, and they had no rest period during the day as well. And the third group, who would go on to become music teachers, practiced for 1 to 2 hours each day, often in the afternoon, which also hinted at procrastination. So groups 1 and 2, the most successful groups, practiced for approximately the same amount of time, one group having breaks and the other group not. And the third group practiced less and was at a much less productive time. This study shows the power of intentionally harnessing energy and scheduling healthy rituals that rejuvenate rather than focusing on time management. Teachers who arrive at school already stressed and overwhelmed are fighting a losing battle from the start of the day and will find it increasingly difficult to show resilience and flexibility when they come up against the inevitable challenges of students and classrooms. And when teachers show up to school as their best selves, well prepared for lessons, in a calm state, and aware of how to manage button-pushing behaviours for themselves, when they're rested and well-nourished, the results in the classroom are obvious. Teachers who feel positive and optimistic because they've developed rituals to support their own well-being cope much better with the inevitable challenges and stresses that come with teaching. Now it's your turn. What well-being rituals or habits have you developed that work for you? Write them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. Stay safe and happy teaching.